Sridhar Das, and today I'm going to go through a very important topic, right? That is our health. Health comes before anything else. If you're healthy, you can be very spiritual as well. But if you're not, we cannot follow the spiritual life, nor our material life also, we can be successful. So therefore, we have to focus on our health. So the topic for today is health benefits of spirituality. How do we connect spirituality and health together? Are they connected or are they not? If they are, what is the connection? Is there any scriptural basis for that at all? Let's see, in detail. Okay, for the next 1.5 hours, you will all be with me and till the end. And I'll show you so many benefits that we can get by being spiritual, with respect to our physical health. So welcome all of you to this session. I would like to dedicate this session to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, spiritual master and GBC member, who has been always our inspiration to do online programs. So let us do the prayers. Before starting any class, we have to pray to our spiritual master. So, Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Desha Tarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I would like to call out these credits. So we are very thankful to His Grace Mahananda Prabhu, who is our mentor and who has created this content. And let me tell you, since there is some bit of medical advice in this, we have also got it reviewed by 2 doctors, Dr. Dattatreya Das, bachelor's and MD in Ayurveda, Dattu Ayurvedam, Hyderabad, and Dr. Krishna Kishore Alisetti, BAMS, MD in Ayurveda, Dhruva Ayurveda Vaidyashala. Both of them are quite experienced doctors who went through the slides and given us corrections, and we made it, and this is what is in the current shape. So let us begin. So if you want to turn on your videos, you can turn on. If you want to keep it interactive, you can put it in the chat. Okay. If you have any questions anytime. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to the session. Let's begin. Okay, so can anybody describe who is the personality sleeping on these arrows here?
Bhishma Pitama.
Bhishma Pitama.
So why is he on a bed of arrows? Can anybody describe the situation?
He is waiting for Krishna to leave his body.
Okay, more.
And the seasons.
That was blessing that he could.
He is waiting for the auspicious time to come to depart his.
According to his will, he had this blessing. According to his will, he could die.
Why is he hurt by so many arrows? Can anybody explain?
Arjuna has put the arrows on him. When Krishna comes in the female body and he
Shikandi,
stands in
not
front
Krishna.
of,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not getting
Yeah,
that
no
name.
problem. Yeah.
So when he comes and stands in front of Bhishma,
Yes.
Bhishma will not, show his arrow, take out his arrow and put on a female. So
Correct.
at that time, Arjuna has done this to him. And
Right.
since Bhishma has this boon of self-death. Like he has to wish for the death, only then he can die. So he's lying till he gets the wish. I'm not getting the proper words. That's it.
No problem. Yeah, you're almost there. Thank you.
Shikandi, I think, probably.
Yeah,
Shikandi.
yeah, correct.
It was Shikandi, correct. So they are all Kshatriyas, warriors. So they are on the battlefield. And here we have Bhishma Pitamaha, grandfather Bhishma, who is on the bed of arrows. And he takes a lot of pride in being on the bed of arrows because he's a Kshatriya, he's a warrior. And despite being on the bed of arrows, he gave a discourse on religious principles to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And just tell me something. If we have a bed sore or a toothache, or let's say even fever, will we be able to carry out our duties?
No,
Without
Prabhuji, we'll take a, I had a little cold today. I didn't go to the temple. It's as simple. If your health is not all right, you cannot do anything. And here is Bhishma Pitama with so much of pain. Every single nerve of his has been pierced with, it's easy to say, he's lying on a bed of arrows. Even if we get pricked by a pin, we scream in pain. So,
right.
let's see.
That's what. So Bhishma Pitamaha is able to tolerate so much of bodily pain and bodily discomfort. So how is it possible? So what is the spiritual link behind this? Right? So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna says, Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena guru napi vichalyate. So yasmin sthito na dukkhena guru napi vichalyate. That means in the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one mind is completely self-restrained by the practice of yoga. And in this perfection, a person who is established thus, he thinks that there is no greater gain. And being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This is indeed the actual freedom from all miseries arising from the material contact. So here is a live example of this shloka of Bhagavad Gita that, Bhishma Pitamaha, being 100% spiritual, 100% God conscious, is able to tolerate, every kind of problem in his body. Correct? So one thing that we have to understand is diseases are a part of our life. So Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshalu Darshanam. Right? So this birth, death, old age and disease are a part of the material world, and they are inevitably, they will come to, anybody and everybody. It's not possible to completely get rid of them. But having said that, there is always a possibility that we can do preventive healthcare. So that is what is preventive healthcare, right? So prevention is better than cure, right? So it is always better to prevent. Why should we even get it in the first place? So what is the best place where we can go to get some nice tips for our health? Let's see if we have some advice about how to be healthy in our life from the Vedas. Okay. Hare Krishna. So here, this is Vedas, right? What is Vedas? Vedas is the knowledge, the ancient set of knowledge that the human beings have. There is no knowledge that is as deep or as old as Vedas for the entire mankind. There is no living ancient civilization like India. India is the only living ancient civilization. All the civilizations have ended. And our roots trace back to lakhs and crores of years. So let us see what are all the Vedas that are described here. We have 4 Vedas. Can anybody spell them out? What 4 Vedas?
Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda.
So Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva Veda. So each of these Vedas have applied sciences. So applied sciences is, for example, for the Rig Veda, Dhanur Veda is the Upaveda. Dhanur Veda means martial arts. Right? So India was number one in everything, even martial arts. Right? I don't know if you have seen, there was one movie also on Bodhisattva. There was one person who was an expert in martial arts who went from here to China and taught all the martial arts to the Chinese. So all those Chinese martial arts actually, which are very, very famous, are actually coming from India, originating from India. So we see in Mahabharata, there is so much of description about how to fight a war, different kinds of vyuhas, different kinds of formations, and how, different kinds of astras. And these astras are empowered by some subtle energies, right? Which the scientists have not even able to invent now, like the Brahmastra, very advanced, Agneya Astra, Vayu Astra, so many different kinds of astras are there. So this is all Dhanur Veda. So Yajur Veda has got a Upaveda or an applied science called as the Sthapatya Veda, or the construction science. So the so-called Vastu, or how to do construction, or how to carve, Shilpa, sculptures, right? All that Sthapatya Veda, construction science. And the Samaveda has got a Upaveda called as Gandharva Veda, or the performance arts of dances and singing. All of them are given in the Gandharva Veda. Right? All the traditional Indian arts, music, and dance are there in the Samaveda. And in the Atharva Veda, the Upaveda is the Ayurveda. Right? Ayu means, what is the meaning of Ayu?
Lifespan.
Lifespan. Ayu means lifespan. So the objective of Ayurveda is to maximize our lifespan. So how did this Ayurveda come into place traditionally? Let's just see that. So this is a description coming from a story which is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 8th canto, when there is a churning of the milk ocean that happens, right, between the demigods and the demons. And when they churn this milk ocean, so many different kind of things come, like Airavata, Uchchaishrava, etc. Among these, the personality that comes is Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari is the deity of Ayurveda. You see, Dhanvantari is the expansion or avatara of Lord Vishnu. Right? It's called Vishnu or Amshamsha Sambhavaha. Plenary portion of the plenary portion of Lord Vishnu. He was conversant with the science of medicine. Right? And he was there, and he has a symbolism. What is the symbolism is? He has Shankha and, Chakra. That is common symbolism with Lord Vishnu. And he has got Jaluka, or the leech, on the right hand side. And on the left hand side, he has got a pot of nectar. So among this Panchakarmas in Ayurveda, one of the thing is leech therapy. They actually put leech. Leech has got a special character, just like how a swan, if you give it milk combined with water, what can the swan do? The swan will take only the milk. Similarly, the leech has got a special property. The property is it can only suck the bad blood. Yeah, it can suck the bad blood. So it is called dosha nivarana. So what is the significance here is, that means, with the first dosha nirharana, means first removing the toxicated blood, first removing the problem, and then giving the medicine. That is amrita, longevity. Amrita means what? Ambrosia, which gives us long life, longevity, right? So let's have a little bit basics of Ayurveda. I'm not going to go too deep into it, because the point here is not that. We don't want to get into too much depth here, but just to understand a little bit of basics, we should know this much, that in Ayurveda is basically, there are 3 types of humors, are called as the prakritis, or the doshas, called as vata dosha, pitta dosha, and the kapha dosha. And each of these have got a certain function. For example, vata is responsible for the circulation of the blood, right? It is the air. Pitta is the fire, which is meant for the digestion of our system, digestive system, and also to keep the temperature, right? We have got a temperature in our body. When we become, when we get a fever, Hare Krishna, when we get a fever, what happens? Our temperature increases, right? So the pitta dosha, is increasing like that. Kapha dosha is water, right? Water and earth combined is kapha dosha. So when you get a cold, when you're sneezing continuously and you're getting a lot of phlegm from your nose, that is called kapha dosha. So that is like that, it is accumulated inside the lungs. So what happens is all the diseases that are possible in this body are the combination of vata, pitta, and kapha. It is an imbalance of one of these three doshas. So everybody has got these three doshas. It is not possible to live without these three doshas. But the thing is, if one of them becomes imbalanced, that becomes a problem. If they are balanced, then there is no problem. Then that person is very healthy. So, and every person is predominantly one type of prakriti. For example, a person can be of type vata, a person can be of type pitta, a person can be of prakriti kapha. So we have to, a doctor will be able to find out that better. The doctor will see the nadi pariksha and they will say what is our prakriti. And it can be a combination of these two also. That is possible. And based on our prakriti, we are supposed to be eating food and doing all the activities based on our prakriti. So we cannot, so for example, if I am a vata person and if I am doing those activities and eating those foods which are aggravating vata, I will get vata related diseases. Right? So there are diseases classified based on vata, pitta, and kapha. So this is a science which has been there from thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So now let us see how the day can be divided in terms of vata, pitta, and kapha. So early 6 a.m. in the morning, during the day, after the sunrise, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the time of kapha. Right? No, that's where, you just have a start, you will get ready, go into the office, etc. And 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the pitta time, when your fire is very strong. You're ready to do, you're ready to take up the most difficult work of the day. And you can take the heaviest meal also during that time. And after comes vata, right? And then comes again in the night also, it is like kapha, pitta, and vata, and the circle is like that. So to explain you clearly, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the best time to do some kind of exercise or some kind of physical work. Because that's kapha time. You can do a little bit of exercise. That's good. So that's why, the meal during this time, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is generally decent. Something like, fruits and some kind of breakfast like that, right? So and during the pitta, you will eat the largest meal, that's because, our digestive fire or this stomach, inside our stomach, we have digestive fire, right? The digestive fire, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that, I am the aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashrita, right? So he says, Lord Krishna says that I am the digestive fire in the stomach of every living entity. So if our digestive fire is gone, then we are gone. So if we are not able to digest, then that's it. We have to very carefully protect it. We have to carefully follow a disciplined lifestyle for eating food and maintain our lifestyle so that our digestive fire is being protected properly. So pitta, so this digestive fire is connected with the sun. You see, when the sun is rising, our digestive fire is less. And when it is on in the midday on top of our head, that's when our digestive fire is the most. That's when you can have the heaviest of the meals. Right? That's when you can have something like paneer or something like any heavy kind of a stuff, have it in the morning. But in the night when sun is not there, our digestive fire is very weak. So at that time, we are not supposed to have, in the night, this is what happens, no? We go to a party, all the parties happen in the night. And paneer, butter masala, and all the heavy stuff we eat in the night. So this is all disease causing kind of a thing. Night meal is supposed to be very light. And during the midnight, we're not supposed to eat at all. Even if we eat, it should be very light, light. The time to sleep, going to sleep, maximum, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. we should be asleep. So what has happened is, like, before there was no electricity, so there was no internet also, no 4G, no 5G. So people used to go to sleep, right? People in the fields used to do the agriculture. They'll get very tired, and the evening They will listen to some Harikatha, do the chanting, listen, do some kirtan, and then they will sleep. But now what has happened? People will come back from work and they'll be actually working in the night till the midnight because lights are there, right? Internet is there. We will just start with the Instagram and then we'll be watching the Instagram reels one after the other, YouTube shorts, and we realize, we have lost 2-3 hours or 4 hours, 5 hours on social media, right? And people are watching all the useless content and we are spoiling our health also. Is it not so? In the night, we should have a light meal. It should not be a very heavy meal. In the morning, you should have the heaviest meal, especially in the noon time, right? In the night, it should be a light meal that can digest before 4 a.m. At the time when you wake up, your meal should have been completely digested. And one very important thing is go to sleep early. This is a very common thing. Wealthy and wise, but how is that? The science is here. How is that? Why is that? The reason is here. The reason is, if you are awake during the night time, we get vata related diseases like paralysis. If we are awake in the night time. And if we sleep during the daytime, we will get kapha related diseases like diabetes. So to avoid getting kapha related diseases in the morning and getting vata related diseases aggravating in the night, we must sleep early, wake up early. We must be synchronized with the nature's clock. So we are inside this nature, right? And we should be in sync with the nature. If we are out of sync with the nature, then it will cause diseases in the long term. So here we have some specific suggestions. Dinacharya, it is called, like daily schedule, how our schedule should be, how an ideal day should be, right? So the ideal day starts, waking early in the morning, definitely before sunrise, preferably 45 minutes before sunrise or even before that. That is called as Brahma Muhurta. Wake up in the Brahma Muhurta, 4:30 a.m. Wake up in the morning and, clean and brush the teeth, tongue clean, and drink a cup of hot water and evacuation of bowels. Take a bath, wear clean washed clothes. That's very important. Taking bath is very important for our health. If you take a bath, even your digestive fire will improve. You can try this. In the evening, if you take one bath, let's say at around 5:30 or 6 o'clock, you will start feeling hungry. So it's a very nice habit, taking bath. So taking bath in the morning, very important. Take the bath. First thing that you're supposed to do, as soon as you get up, first thing, get ready and take the bath. First thing. We should not avoid that. You should not postpone that activity. Don't postpone bathing. That's the first thing that we're supposed to do. Get ready, bath, wear clean clothes. First, be clean. And then perform the mantra meditation. Yoga, pranayama, or we recommend chanting the Hare Krishna Maha. You chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You chant. Then you can have fruits. And later, hot breakfast, right? You can have some kind of a light breakfast or a pre-breakfast to begin with, some dry fruits or some fruits to begin with. And afterwards, whatever tiffin that you have, that hot breakfast, you will have your breakfast. And again, that should not be too delayed also. We should complete it before 8 a.m. or at least by 8 a.m. or maximum by 9 a.m. Not at, you cannot have breakfast at 11 and have lunch at 2 because you're not giving sufficient time for your stomach to digest. Is it not? Correct? So therefore, do this. And exercise is very important, right? It is said, Vyayamam ardhabhalam nisevat, means, how much should you exercise? That is also become a big question mark now, right? So these days we see a lot of incidents that we hear in the news, right? Somebody has died because of over exercising, right? So can anybody think and suggest like how much should we exercise?
Hare Krishna, probably 30 minutes.
1
Okay.
hour to 1 to 1.5 hours is good. And it should be more of a stretching than exhaustion. Exhausting is different from exercising. That difference we must try to make out.
40 minutes, Guruji.
30 minutes,
45 minutes.
1
45
hour,
minutes.
stretching, cardio. Yeah, everybody has got some recommendations. That's nice. Everybody's talking about it. That's good. But then we are seeing that so many people, some people are actually dying. Is it not? I don't know, they're too much of workout and then, they see they're actually dying. That's what is happening.
It may be due to underlying
It
problems
may-
also, Guruji, Prabhuji.
Maybe it varies from body to body, so they have to be cautious on health wise, and even the food intake what also depends, and age wise also. So all these three matters, right?
Right. Okay.
Maybe 12 sets of Surya Namaskaras.
12 sets of Surya Namaskar. Nice.
Sleep is also important, Prabhuji. That is generally neglected. Insufficient sleep can cause heart problems also. That is
Insufficient
research.
sleep can cause heart problems. Yes. So let us see what is a specific recommendation from Ayurveda. It says Vyayamam Ardhabalam Nishevat. That means until you are exhausted to half of your capacity, you must do exercise. For example, if you can walk 10 miles, that is your exhaustion point, 10 miles. Or let's say that you can do exercise for, let's say, you can run for maybe half an hour if you can run, and you will be completely exhausted and you cannot walk at all. Then you should be only doing for 15 minutes. If you exercise more than your capacity, Ayurveda says that it is like the fight between a lion cub and an elephant. Who will win?
It will be a elephant.
A lion cub
only.
fighting with an elephant. Who will win?
The elephant.
Lion.
Elephant will win.
Elephant will win.
Elephant is the strongest. Like,
Elephant is stronger. But generally, lion can kill an elephant if it is an adult lion. But here in this case, it's a cub. It's not a fully, it's like a complete adult. So that's why it loses, then it has to die. So if you do too much of exercise, that is so dangerous.
Prabhuji, I have an observation.
Yes,
Like
please.
if you are walking today for 15 minutes and you are getting tired, probably after 2-3 days, you can walk up to half an hour and still you will be okay. So it depends. So gradually you have to develop the habit and then decide your capacity. It's not that on first day you are walking for 15 minutes and you're tired. You should not limit it, keep it 15 minutes only limit. So that is what I feel.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, that's why we need trainers. We need all these people who can help us, right? So we should not do anything out of our own whims and fancies. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
it should be a habit, like a practice.
Practice also. Yes. Now, what does Bhagavad Gita say about eating and sleeping? Now, this is very interesting. So who is this person here? Anybody can identify this character? Kumbhakarna, right? So very famous in Ramayana, right? So Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Yuktahara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasu, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So we must regulate these habits. Ahara, vihara, and swapnava bodhasya means too much of sleeping is also a problem. If you sleep too much, eat too much, it will be like the story of Kumbhakarna. Let me tell you this story. Kumbhakarna, he's asleep for 6 months. And when Ravana, with great difficulty, woke him up, then Kumbhakarna lamented. And he said, I'm feeling very sad because if I would not have been sleeping, if I would not have eaten so much, and if I'm not sleeping so long, I would have stopped you from doing this irreligious activity of kidnapping Sita. Now the situation has come to such a state that the enemy is standing, right in front of our kingdom right now. Now I am being your brother. I have to support you. I really lament for this situation. This is what happens when we overeat and, oversleep. On the other extreme is, the same thing Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, a person who eats too much or eats too less, or sleeps too much or sleeps too less cannot be a yogi. So we must strike a balance, right? Overeating is not good. Undereating is also not good. So in the name of different kinds of fasts, we try to do, so many different kinds of fasts are there, which prescribe eating very less, and that can also be dangerous in the long run, right? So let us continue with the dinacharya or the daily activities. So what should you do in the afternoon, 1 to 2 p.m.? Have a well-cooked lunch consisting of balanced foods. And one important recommendation of Ayurveda is walk for 100 steps after a meal, right? So this is common wisdom. I'm sure you would have heard it from your grandmother or grandfather saying this, but walk a little. And immediately after eating, not immediately, rest for maybe some 10 minutes or so, because there is something called bhuktayasa. That means like you have eaten just now and you're like, so you've eaten a lot of food now, right? So you need a little break. Okay, 10 minutes break at least. Okay. And then you can walk for 100 steps a little bit. And that will nicely digest your meal, right? So nicely, it will be digested. So then you
Prabhuji,
can cut it. Yes, Hare Krishna says. Yes.
Prabhuji, is it not Vamakukshi after lunch and
Yes.
Shatapavali after
Exactly.
dinner?
Shatapavali and
So
Vamakukshi.
Vamakukshi is
Yes.
lying down on the left side after
Left
the
hand.
lunch for 20 minutes or 10
Absolutely.
minutes.
Absolutely. Absolutely right, Mataji. So you can just lie down on your left hand for 10-15 minutes, a power nap, right? If you see that in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after a meal, he also, he's sleeping for 10-15 minutes like that, 10 minutes, it's a short break. It's a power nap, right? So take brief rest after lunch, right? So Vamakukshi, and sleep on your left hand side. It is specifically recommended that you are lying on the left hand side of the body and not the right hand side of the body. Okay. So then you continue with whatever work you're doing. So you have eaten a heavy meal and then you're starting to drive and you're going on the speed breakers. Doesn't make sense. Not a good thing to do. Or you've just eaten your meal and then you just start running here and there. You lift some very heavy items and you're doing some exertive works. Don't do that. The stomach, it won't digest properly, right? So, and when should you be eating? Should you eat just because, it's time and you have to eat it? Or should you wait for your hunger? What do you think?
We should be aware of our Jatharagni activation.
Yes. Any more people? Yes.
Only when you feel hungry.
Shouldn't we have a regular schedule, Prabhuji, like regular time?
We should have a regular schedule, but especially when you're not at all hungry. Let's say, okay, you have a regular schedule, but you're not hungry at all. So, but then you see, okay, it's 1 p.m. Now let me just stuff this in. That's going to be very dangerous. You see? So you have to wait for hunger. You should feel like eating. So, there should be nothing on your head other than food. You just feel like only food comes to your mind. That's when you're really hungry. But of course, you should not leave too much of gap also. You have to regulate it very carefully, but don't eat when you're not hungry. That's a very important thing. And don't fast when you're hungry. Sometimes, stomach will be saying, give me food, give me food. It's crying for food. But then we are like, I won't give you food. Okay, wait, I've got a meeting now. Now you're meeting, call, phone call, meeting, going on. What will happen to your digestive fire? Right? It is asking for food. System is asking for food. But then you are in the meeting continuously. Right? How is it possible? So you have to be careful about that. Right? Not good thing to fast too much.
Hare Krishna, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, please.
There's one point I want to add here. So
yes, please.
We should not take water before lunch and after lunch, 30 minutes. So is it covered in, because I didn't come across this because you're telling about the food activities. This I just thought, let me share this.
Yes,
I think everyone aware that we should not drink water. People take water immediately after having food. That is not acceptable.
Yes, immediately means like immediately, it is said Bhojanante Vishamvari. That means like if you have food after maybe 30 minutes of your lunch, heavy lunch, it's going to actually spoil the digestion, because what happens is like, digestive system has just started digestion and all the bile juices, everything, it's working. The digestive system is working and you're putting water and you're diluting it. All the fire will go and it won't properly work, right? So it's like, there's a fire burning, just imagine a fire and you're putting water on the fire. What happens then? So it doesn't mean that you should not drink water. The best recommendation that I have heard, whatever I'm saying is from what I've heard from these doctors. So the doctor says, Ayurvedic doctor says that, have in the beginning, have a little bit of water, little bit, of course, not too much that, you will not feel like eating anything. And while eating, you should drink a little bit of water and eat, little bit of water and eat. I see in some places that, people don't drink water at all while eating. That's very bad. You should, while you're eating, keep drinking a little bit of water and keep eating. So that's the best. While eating, you drink a little bit of water and keep eating. Right? That will be the best thing to do. Right? And
Thank you,
how
Prabhu.
much to eat? Now the next question. How much to eat? Now the stomach has got 100% capacity. How much should we eat? Should we eat up to 100% or how much?
Only 50%.
Full.
50%.
50%.
2/3.
Yeah. So there are two views here. So one view is, one of the Ayurvedic textbook says that, one of the classics says you must eat 1/3 of food and 1/3 of water, and 1/3 you should leave it, air. You should give some space for it to, basically digest. That's one. And another place it says 50% should be solid and 25% is water and 25% is a little bit of air. Right? Now, how do you reconcile these both is, if you're having a very heavy meal, something like very fried stuff, paneer and really, really, really heavy stuff, then it's like, if you eat 1/3, it's enough. 1/3 solid, 1/3 liquid, and 1/3 free space. Right? If you're eating a light meal, then you can have up to 50% solid and 25% water and 25% is, left as it is. It's not like stomach is completely full. I'll eat till here. Like completely, it's coming here now. You should not eat so much. Right? So that's how you should regulate your food. Yuktahara viharasya. Right. Let's see what's the dinacharya for the evening. So like have a mild physical exercise, a little bit of walking here and there, and have dinner early. Have dinner early. That's very important. We just saw that if you have to wake up early, what should you be doing? What's the most important thing? If you have to wake up early, what is the thing that you should be doing?
Sleep
Go
early.
to bed
Sleep
early.
No, go to bed early is one answer. Okay.
Eat
Go to bed
early.
early is not possible.
Eat
It is
early.
still, no,
Eat
no,
early.
still, eat early. Eat early.
Have a dinner early.
Have your dinner early. Then you'll definitely wake up early. This is the secret. If you want to wake up early in the morning, have your dinner early. Have a hard stop at 7:30 p.m. You must have your dinner. That's it. Then definitely you will feel asleep by 9:30 max. In 2 hours, you will feel sleepy and you will go to bed. If you have dinner at 10 p.m. or 9:30 p.m., okay, let's say you have dinner at 10 p.m. You will feel sleepy only at 12 p.m. And when you go to bed at 12 p.m., human body requires at least like 5 to 6 hours is minimum. So 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock also it will become 7 o'clock. You'll cross the sunrise time, right? So you'll not be able to enjoy that benefits of the Brahma Muhurta. Waking up at that time, chanting and doing spiritual activities, all that will be gone. And the whole day will also go. If you don't do that spiritual activities in the early morning Brahma Muhurta, the full day will be in a bad consciousness. And the full day, somebody boss will say something, somebody will say something, and we don't have that strength to fight with everybody, right? But if you take this care, eat early, sleep early in the night, wake up early in the morning, chant your rounds properly, and then you go to your office, then you will be like very solid warrior. Nobody can actually disturb you. You will be like completely in the state of equilibrium, right? So early to bed. Ideal is like 3 hours prior to sleeping and go to a sleep. Now let us see something interesting from Srimad Bhagavatam. What were the activities of Lord Krishna? Right? How can we not talk about Lord Krishna? So what did Krishna used to do? In the early hours of the morning, Lord Krishna would rise from bed and bath himself in clear water. Immediately sits down and meditates on himself. So the thing is, since Lord Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead, he has got nobody else to meditate upon. Therefore, he meditates upon himself. So, but it doesn't mean that, I will meditate upon myself. I'll put my photo and I'll think of me. No, not that, not like that. Okay. He meditates upon himself because he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So after that, yeah. Can anybody read this, please, this paragraph? Starting from after that.
After that,
Yeah.
shall I tell Prabhuji?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. After that, he would offer oblations into the sacred fire, chant the Gayatri mantra, worship the worship and pay tributes to demigods, sages, and forefathers, and offer respects to learned brahmanas. Then he would touch auspicious substances, decorate himself with celestial ornaments. His
Thank you.
next duty.
Hare Krishna. We'll ask anybody else to read the next point.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Yes, next. Somebody can read the next one, please.
His next duty was to give cows in charity to the Brahmanas. Every day, Lord Krishna used to give many groups of 13,084 cows. His next duty was to please all kinds of men belonging to the different castes, both in the city and within the palace compound.
Thank you. Next one, please.
Then the Lord would go to the assembly house known as Sudharma.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. So we see here that, Lord Krishna is setting an example, how a householder, is very disciplined, waking up early in the morning during the Brahma Muhurta, doing all the spiritual practices, doing all the religious duties, and then going to work, right? He's going to his office or Sudharma, right? That's the assembly house, where he gives judgment in Dwarka. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So we have some healthy alternatives, like, we can avoid things like sugar instead of sugar. It is said that jaggery or this old type of sugar, this like what do you call that? Candy sugar is considered to be a little better.
Mishri.
Yeah, mishri. It's considered cooler and better. And instead of having all these kind of cool drinks or these soft drinks, it's better to avoid them, have natural drinks like fruit juices and coconut water, etc. Anytime, they're always better. They're good for our digestive fire. They'll not cause any kind of problems for sure, right? So what is this Coca-Cola and business? This is all just like some sugar water. We are just drinking some sugar water, carbonated drinks, and we don't know what kind of damage we are doing to our system. So we should avoid these kind of drinks, and we should go for healthy alternatives. So here is the point. If you take food, Hare Krishna, just mute you, sorry. Yeah. So here is the point. The food is called as Aharam Mahabhaishajam. Means it is a great medicine. So if you take food as a medicine, then you will not have to take medicine as your food. So be so calculative about your food. Just like if you are supposed to take a medicine, a doctor prescribes your medicine. Okay, there's a prescription which says, okay, this medicine in the morning, this medicine in the evening, this medicine in the night. So 500 mg, 500 mg, 500 mg. So will you take 500? Okay, I'll take 1500 in the morning. 1, 2, 3. Will you do that? In the evening, again, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I forgot that. Okay. Oh, last 3 days I have not taken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Will you do that? You don't do that, right? So very calculative. You're very careful when you're taking your medicine. Similarly, you have to be very careful when you're taking your food, right? You should be so calculative about your food. Then you'll not have to take medicines as your food. So some healthy alternatives. Here we have some picture of Gomata. That is a cow. In the Ayurveda, cow is considered really the best. The best kind of milk that is possible is Ayurveda. So actually, any analysis in Ayurveda is done based on rasa, guna, virya, vipaka, and prabhava. So it's like, what is the taste? What is the taste after digestion? And what is it, whether it is heavy or not? There's different kinds of analysis that is done in the Ayurveda. So from all perspectives, cow milk is considered to be the best milk after mother's milk. After mother's milk, the most recommended milk is cow milk. And if there is any recommendation that we have to take for curd, it is cow's curd. If we have to take ghee, it is cow ghee. So everything of cow is really pure. So I had a conversation with the doctor. He's a quite experienced doctor, Dr. Krishna Kumar Alisetti. He's a good friend of mine, and he actually prepares his own medicine. That's the difference. They prepare their own medicine, and they see their textbooks and they prepare their medicine. So I asked him, we hear that cow urine is a medicine. Is it really a medicine, or it's like just pseudoscience? What do you think? Then he said, absolutely, it's a medicine. And there are so many medicines in which we actually use cow urine. And it has been given in all these textbooks written by Sushruta and Charaka. They are like the father of the plastic surgery, right? Sushruta and Charaka, they are like very, very old physicians that have written the classic Ayurvedic textbooks. It's written there in Sanskrit. It is there. It's not some kind of a sentimental belief of Hindus that they consider cow as sacred. It is really very medicinal. The cow urine also is considered very medicinal. And in particularly, the doctor said, it is helpful in opening of the blocks, killing the bad bacteria in the intestines and liver detoxification, and helps us improving the skin diseases, right? So another important benefit of the cows, I tell you, is if you take cow milk and cow ghee, the subtle tissues of our brain will develop. So when the subtle tissues of our brain develop, then we will be able to understand the topics of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Vedanta. All this we will be able to understand. Philosophy, only if we have that subtle tissues properly developed. So these can be developed only if we have the cow products. So that's why, in all the fire sacrifices in the Vedic rituals, there is no buffalo ghee that's recommended. The first is like only thing recommended is cow's ghee and cow's milk. Cow's milk can be given to anybody starting from a very small child to a very aged person also. Of course, there can be some contra introductions where some people are lactose intolerant, etc. But general recommendation, cow is considered really, 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 really the best. Buffalo is not in the next line. Buffalo's ghee and buffalo things are like commercially viable. That's the reason why, for the business reasons, people have actually chosen buffalo ghee. So, but we should try as much as possible to use cow products, and especially desi cow products. That will be very good for us. Now we may think, oh, this is expensive, but yeah, but we are, if we don't spend money in our health, we'll have to spend money in the hospital. So that's the problem. So that's very important. So, and cows have got a special connection with Krishna. What is that connection? Anybody can say? What is the connection between Krishna and cows?
Krishna used to herd cows.
Krishna used to herd cows. Correct. And what are the names of Krishna in relation with cow?
Govinda.
What
Gopala.
else? Govinda, Gopala, Govardhana, Goloka, right? In relation with the cows, right? So the transcendental abode of Lord Krishna, which is in the spiritual world, the topmost spiritual world, is called Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Vrindavana is called as Goloka, the place where there are all are surrounded by Surabhi cows. Surabhi is the master species of the cow species in the spiritual world. We live in the material world, but there is something called as the spiritual world beyond this material world. Okay. So, abandoning their calves, the young cows joyfully worship Krishna with abundant nectarian milk. With great love, Krishna always protects them. In this way, Lord Krishna, who always protects everyone, became eternally famous as Gopal, protector of the cows. Srihari Bhakti Kalpalatika, Stabhaka 5, text 10. So now let's see what are the foods recommended in Bhagavad Gita. We all know that the Bhagavad Gita is the topmost theistic science, the best textbook for studying religion and philosophy in the world, and the song of God. And here, God is giving some recommendations, and how can we miss that? I will read the verse here. Ayus sattva balarogya sukha priti vivardhanaha rasyaha snigdha stira hridyaha ahara satvika priyaha. Can anybody read the translation for me, please?
Foods dear
Foods
to
dear to
those
those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So the foods must be, cow milk, cow ghee, and all the various products that you can make with this cow milk and cow ghee and the combination with the grains, right? These are all considered very sattvic, and people, mode of goodness. They like this kind of food stuff. So if we want to be in the mode of goodness, we have to eat this kind of food. What is the kind of food? Which increases the duration of life, right? It gives strength, balya, sukha priti, which is, healthy, gives happiness and satisfaction. After eating, a nice kheer, you'll feel very happy, very satisfied. Such a sattvic food, right? So the food should be like that, juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. So this will give us good health. So actually, there's a lot more which is given in Bhagavad Gita, but we will not be able to take all of that in this session. So for Bhagavad Gita related discussion, we have another program called as Gita Gyan, which we do 18 chapters in 18 days, which I will talk about it. So in that course, we actually talk a lot more about in detail about what Lord Krishna speaks about 3 types of gunas and how to classify this food in based on gunas, and a lot of all the 18 chapters we will discuss there. Okay, so basically the thing is, a food must be that food which we offer to the Lord. So the best is if you can actually offer this cooked food to Krishna, right? And with love and devotion, right? Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktya upahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If you offer with love and devotion, even if a fruit, flower, or water, right? Fruit, flower, water, also he will take, right? And if that, the most important thing is, it must have devotion, bhakti. So if you give that, offer it to the Lord and take the remnants of Krishna, and if you eat it, that becomes prasadam, right? And you will become spiritually immune, right? It is like something like taking an antiseptic food, right? You'll become spiritually immune. So that's very important that we practice this and avoid any kind of junk food or the food which is in the mode of passion or mode of ignorance. Now coming to the next topic, it is said that Langhanam Parama Aushadam. That means fasting is a great medicine. This is a very good principle for good health. That is why, our ancestors used to always fast. Is it not? So for every religious event, they will do fasting first, right? Eat only when you're hungry, right? So I'll tell you one nice case study about Professor Yoshinori Osumi. So recently, he's got a Nobel Prize for his findings. So he has researched on fasting. And what he concluded is, there is a concept called autophagy. That means if you don't provide food to your stomach, the stomach will start eating itself. The human body will start eating itself, like its own damaged cells and unused proteins. So this is called autophagy. Means with this autophagy, what happens is all the toxic cells of your body will be taken by your body itself. And then your longevity will increase. The number of years that you will live will increase, right? So it is the same concept that is there in our spirituality, that is called as, what is it called? Anybody can say? We fast every 15 days. So that is a recommendation of Professor. Professor said, yes. Yes, Ekadashi. This professor said fast every 15 days. So actually on the Ekadashi, that is the 11th lunar day, the constellation is in such a time and all the grahas and constellation is in such a place that, it is the most suitable day for fasting. That's called Ekadashi, or the 11th day of lunar moon. Therefore, it is given here in the Skanda Purana, one is saved from mental and bodily diseases just by listening to the glories of Ekadashi. So if somebody is glorifying Ekadashi, if we simply hear that, only our bodily diseases and mental diseases will go. So that is Ekadashi, right? Ekadashi fasting means we should try to avoid eating anything on that day. If that's not possible at all, we will take milk and fruits. If that is also not possible, we may take some non-grain food items in a limited quantity. So the idea is we try to put our mind on spiritual consciousness, spirituality, right? So we want to bring our mind, elevate our consciousness to spiritual consciousness. Why should we do that? Here it is. Somebody can read this, please. Quotation.
Ekadashi relieves us from all the pains and sufferings. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So let's see the next quotation. Can somebody volunteer to read this, please?
Yes. In the three worlds, there is no kind of fasting which is even comparable to the Ekadashi fast. Even if one performs this fast in a proper attitude, he achieves the supreme abode. Anyone who fasts on Ekadashi day with full devotion, what happens to him by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, I cannot say. How much merit gets cannot be described. Padma Purana, Krishna Yoga Sara. So
Ekadashi is so important. It is materially beneficial and spiritually also very beneficial, because we can achieve the supreme abode by simply observing this fast every 15 days. Our body becomes completely detoxified. We will feel very light because our digestive system is overburdened. Meal after meal, meal after meal, we are not following the rules of eating and we are just stuffing food inside it. The stomach will really thank you. And on top of that, we will have the spiritual benefits that, at the end of our life, we will go back to Godhead. So now let us see how Prahlad Maharaj tolerated all the bodily and the physical discomfort that were given by his father. How he was able to do that.
Prabhuji, I had one question.
Yes, please.
Like for Ekadashi, what is the right way of fasting? Like, some people say Nirjala and some people take breakfast and don't take lunch and take something in the evening after 6. So some light on that will help us to, take it forward.
Sure. So like the different levels of fasting. So, but the basic standard is we must not eat grains on Ekadashi. That is the most important thing. On Ekadashi, we are not supposed to consume grains. So anything else is okay. So of course, in that there are different standards. Some people can do Nirjal without water. They are able to sustain for the whole day. But if that's not possible, we can take milk and fruits. Even if that's not possible, that, I'm not able to sustain myself just with milk and fruits, we take some non-grain stuff like, I don't know, there are some non-grain attas, etc., which are available in the market. They are also called as Upaska atta, like that. Right? So also sabudana, like that, people take, right?
Right. Thanks, Guruji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
I just want, what do you mean that if we are not able to sustain ourselves? I mean, how will we know that I'm not able to sustain ourselves?
Yeah, it's by trial and error. You try, maybe instead of just trying it like one day, completely, maybe you try half day, fast, and slowly increase it like that. Instead of just taking head on and, spoiling your system and getting a very bitter experience and just leaving it away. You just try to maybe start with a simple, like I will fast till 12 o'clock. Simple.
Okay.
Start like that.
Okay.
Then slowly, the next Ekadashi, you can slowly increase that. Or you can adjust. You will yourself know based on your body type and things that, you can do this, you cannot do it. Do a little
So
bit
if you
of
feel very weak and very weak or unable
you
to
may
even
feel
sit
weak,
or
yeah.
something, then you can eat some fruits or something.
Yes, correct. You may feel weak, dizziness, and all those things. Or weakness and may not be there. Some headache, some people experience. It depends on people to people. They experience different kind of symptoms. Some people may feel sleepy, some people may feel dizzy, etc. But actually, it is all in the mind. I tell you, really, if we have a very strong mind that we want to fast, it's possible. Nothing will happen. It's all in the mind. Actually, our mind is very capable of doing everything. But of course, like I said, don't just go head on and try something very wild, but start with small steps and come to the stage where you're able to do the full day fast like that. Okay.
One thought I want to add: people who are
please.
diabetic will have difficulty in doing Ekadasha, since I am a diabetic person.
Sure.
So I just take only this sabudana, at least to get some energy, so that I won't feel weak. Initially, I used to have a severe headache when I was doing Ekadashi fasting, but now I'm getting used to it. Hari bol. Thank you.
Good. Hari bol. Thank you. Yeah. Sabudana is fine, I think, because there's no, it's not grain as such. As such, it won't break the fast. So I think it should be okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So let's hear now the story of Prahlad Maharaj in brief, how he had to undergo different kinds of tribulations caused by his own father. So Prahlad Maharaj was a great devotee, and he used to be always in Krishna consciousness. He used to always think about the Lord, right? But his father was a demon. He didn't like that idea. He was a very materialistic person. He didn't like that his son becomes so spiritual. So there were a lot of times when Prahlad Maharaj was being asked by his father, what did you learn in the school? And Prahlad Maharaj, always being very spiritual child, used to talk about devotional service, and Hiranyakashipu did not like it to the least, right? So he finally lost his temper and he ordered that, okay, kill this boy. I don't want this boy because he's glorifying my enemy, Vishnu. So then they tried to kill him, by injuring him with tridents, trying to get him bitten by poisonous snakes, trying to trample him by elephants, and try to, put him on fire and try to kill him. That and they tried, tying a stone to him and putting inside the ocean, throwing him from the valley. They tried everything, but every time he was being protected by God. So that's what he was always being protected. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj, when Lord Narsimha Dev comes, he sings these prayers to Lord Narsimha. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9.19. It says, Balasya Neha, Balasya Neha Sharanam Pitarau Nrisimha, Nartasya Chagadamudanvati Majjato Nau, Taptasya Tat Pravidhirya Ihanjanestas, Tavad Vibho Tanubhrutam, Tvadupekshitanam. Can anybody read the text for me, please?
Can I read?
Yes, please.
My Lord Narsimhadev, who is supreme because of bodily conception of the law of life, embodied souls, neglected and not cared for youth, you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial or certainly impermanent. For example, a father and a mother cannot protect their child. A physician in medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what happens is Lord Narsimhadev, takes the incarnation of the Lord, comes and directly protects Prahlad Maharaj, and he kills his father, Hiranyakashipu. At that time, there are some beautiful prayers recited by Prahlad Maharaj, and this is the prayers that is recited by Prahlad Maharaj. And in that, he's saying this, that, oh Lord Nrisimha, if you neglect somebody, if you neglect a soul, then, whatever remedy they may accept, they cannot be saved. Just like how a father and mother cannot protect their child, right? So a lot of times, a father, let's say our child has some fever or some kind of any kind of disease, we are almost like, there's nothing that we can actually do about it. We just have to wait until it goes on its own, right? Or the second example that's given is a physician and a medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient if that soul is neglected by Lord Nrisimha. Right? 1,000 doctors also cannot save a dying patient. If a dying patient could have been saved by 1,000 doctors, then all the rich people of the world would have been alive now. Why did they all die? Right? They all are dead. Right? Because it's ultimately in the hands of God. Right? And the third example that's given here is a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. If a person is neglected by the Lord, then he cannot be protected by a boat also. Like the Titanic, right? So it has to drown. That's it. There's no way to protect it. Right? So that's what it is. So we have different kind of insurances that we take, right? We take, what are the insurances that we have? Different kind of insurances. Can somebody name? With respect to our health. What insurance?
Life insurance, health insurance.
Life insurance.
Accident
we
insurance.
have health insurance and
Term insurance.
Term
Accident
insurance. So these are all important, right? You must have a health insurance. And your health insurance, of course, most of the time it is covered by the companies. Correct? So, but then beyond the company also, we should try to have our own insurance, because if we go out of employment, suddenly we may not have that insurance. So insurance, you have to plan properly, health, right? So it's like, the bills will run into lakhs of rupees very fast, for an ICU. Not to scare you, but per day it will be costing at least 40,000 rupees. That's minimum, right? 40, 50K, depending upon the city, that's like per day. And if a person is in the ICU for a couple of days, it will run into lakhs of rupees very fast. People burn out of cash so fast, trying to save the person. These are the realities of life, right? So we need to have a health insurance, right? We need to have a life insurance also, obviously, right? We should plan for everything. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Lord Krishna saying, everybody who's born must die, and everybody who's died must be born again, right? So therefore, a sober person doesn't feel bewildered about it. I mean, a sober person who is very well trained in Bhagavad Gita, he doesn't get scared about this fact. So he's properly planned. We plan our life insurance, for our family's sake, have a proper life insurance also. Okay, you've got the health insurance, you've got the life insurance. Then, do you have the God's protection? What about God's insurance? Are you having the God's insurance? In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. The yogakshemam vahamyaham is a slogan of a company, insurance company. Can somebody say what is it?
LIC.
LIC. Right. So they have copied from Bhagavad Gita. Right. So they are saying that they will give protection like the Lord. That's not possible. So it is the
Can only copy
completely
the Lord,
dedicated.
but they cannot be like the Lord.
Yeah.
They can only copy, but they cannot be the Lord.
Yeah. They can only copy. I mean, what can they do? I mean, they can compensate for the death, but they cannot save the person who's dying, isn't it?
Yes, they cannot save, and actually compensation too is, very negligible compared to what is happening in the world now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I mean, like the loss that we are going to have by losing that soul or that person from our family, it cannot be replaced by any amount of money. That's also there, right? So we should be under Krishna's protection, right? So that's the insurance that we are supposed to be having. That's the most important insurance that we should have. So I'll tell you one nice story now. So now you may say like, okay, these are all stories there, but no, is that really, does Lord really protect? Lord is saying, Yogakshemam vahamyaham, means I personally give, I personally preserve what they lack. I personally give what they lack and preserve what they have. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. Does he really do that? Now let's hear a story. It's a beautiful story of a devotee who is from Azerbaijan. Can you see this country here, which I am putting on the... No, it's above the Iran. Are you able to see my pointer?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So there was a lady born in this country. Her name was Padasevanam Mataji. Of course, that was her initiated name, but I don't know her name before initiation. So what she used to do was, she somehow got a Bhagavad Gita in her hand. That's all. And she started reading Bhagavad Gita very intensively. And she started taking so much of notes of Bhagavad Gita, etc., etc., etc. And somehow she found the address of this Hare Krishna people, from that Bhagavad Gita as it is. And she went to that center in the country. They had a small center there. She went there and, she was like so conversant with Bhagavad Gita, and she started, explaining everybody, whoever was visiting there. She was talking about Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, everything, all these verses she was telling everyone. And people were very amazed. And then she said, look, I have my apartment and I have so much of money. I don't need all that. I just want some place to stay in this temple. Then they were all puzzled. They said, grandmother, you please go home. You're telling out of, some kind of emotion here. Don't do this. Just go home. They said, no, I'm going to only stay here. I want to be here, chant here, sing. I want to dance. I want to be here. I just don't want to go anywhere. So I'm going to give everything, all the property she gave. And she moved herself to the temple. And she was there and she was very blissful there. And she was talking to so many devotees who were coming. And then she somehow heard about Ahobilam. And also she had some deities of Gopal, right? Just like, in so many parts of our country, people have a deity of Lord Krishna. and they take care of the deity just like their child, right? So they feed food and they take care, they serve the Lord like that in that form. So like that, she had a deity of Gopal, right? And she heard that once she saw a video about Ahobilam, where Lord Narasimhadeva was actually there's a pillar from which Lord Narasimhadeva appears, right? That place, everything, all the description she saw. And this lady, actually, she could talk to Krishna, and people thought it was like, really, she's crazy. And she used to say, my Gopal is saying this, my Gopal is, she used to say, and people used to think this is so artificial. People used to think, why is she saying like that, right? This is her photograph. No, she used to be very dedicated, and people used to think she's like a little mad, or simply she's faking. I mean, how can somebody talk to God? They used to think like that, right? And so she said, Gopal is saying that he's hungry in Garudachala Narasimha temple, that is in Ahobilam, that there is actually a priest who is only doing worship once a week. Gopal is hungry there. So Gopal is ordering me to go there. They said, what? Are you crazy? What's your age? You're 75 plus and you want to go to India. Have you ever been to India? How will you don't even know English. And how will you stay in that forest of Ahobilam? It's not possible. Don't do that. Don't go there. Then just, no, I am going. Who is going to take me? Then they had to take her to India. And they thought, okay, let's take her to Vrindavan and she will see all the Radha Krishna deities and she will see all the devotees there and she will settle down in the town of Vrindavan and she can be taken care of. She said, why are you wasting my time? Gopal is telling me to go to Ahobilam. He is hungry there. He wants me to serve there. Then they had to take her to Ahobilam in the forest where the priest was there, and the priest, they didn't understand her language. She was not understanding their language. And then she finally argued with the priest and said, no, I'll be fine here. If Krishna wants to protect, nobody can kill. If Krishna wants to kill, nobody can protect. Then the priest was in tears, looking at the devotion of this lady who has come from such a long distance, from different country. And the priest, they all built a hut for her, and they all the villagers thought she's a saintly person. And it was published in the newspaper, and the mayor also had come to meet her, and she saw that how she's serving inside the forest. And he also built a brick house. He built a road there, he built a temple there for the Lord, and all the facilities whatever possible he gave. And this Mataji, her name is Pada Sevanam Mataji, and she continued to do serving the Lord. And actually somebody came one day and asked, how are you living in this kind of a forest? Huh? It's such a big forest and you are living in this forest. How are you managing? I mean, the wild animals will be there. No, I said, she casually said, no, nothing. Once a black cobra bit me. That's it. What? Black cobra bit you? You didn't die? What did you do? Did you go to a doctor or not? And he said, no, I just went to the Lord and I prayed that, if you want to kill me, you can kill me. If you want me to live, I will be alive, because there's no doctors there. Basically, there will not be any doctor nearby. It's in a forest. Just to go only, it will take some hours outside, So then the poison stopped. She said, they were all shocked. How is this possible? And one day, actually, there was some kind of noise that was coming, a lot of noise. And the priest asked, what is that noise in the night that's happening? Why is there so much sound in the night? Then he said, yeah, that was actually Lord Narasimhadeva. He was not ready to eat the food. So I was scolding him to eat the food. So we had an argument. So people were shocked. So these were the kind of things that she used to be talking. And she was very advanced in age. And she was spending all her life, serving the deities there. She used to be a favorite of all the localites there. She used to go to all the weddings of the localites and she used to bless all of them, etc., etc. And one day, she left her body. And, the way how she left her body, I'll just show you the picture. She was found like this. So she was, clasping to the deity of Lord Krishna and to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So her name is Pada Sevanam. Pada Sevanam means, serving the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And you can see Bhagavad Gita is there just under her arms. Right? So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam nati astra na samshaya. That means anybody at the time of quitting one's body, if he remembers me, he will come to my spiritual abode. There is no doubt about it. It is guaranteed. So we see, and another thing I'll show you. Can you see a black patch here on her leg? Can you notice this?
Yes,
Yes.
Actually, that's where the black cobra bit her. Right? So, you know, such a glorious way this Mataji has left the planet, right? So everybody, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi is always there. Birth, death, old age, disease, this is all a part of material world. What matters is, you know, what level of consciousness we are maintaining all through our life. That decides what is our next life. Whether we are going to back to Godhead, or we are going to the lower species into the animal species, or we are going to the higher species. That decides our life. So very perfect example, very beautiful example, very inspiring story of Padasevana Mataji. So now I want to tell you how important is chanting as per the Ayurveda Shastra. Also, it's given in one of the Puranas, Achyutananta Govinda Namocharana Bhishitaha Nashyanti Sakala Rogaha Satyam Satyam Vadamyaham. I vow this is the truth. By hearing the names of Achyuta, Ananta and Govinda, one becomes strong and all diseases are cured. This is from the Brihan Naradiya Purana. So here it is said, Nashyanti Sakala Roga. Roga means diseases. Sakala, all the diseases will be gone. Satyam Satyam Vadamyaham. 2 times. I am telling the truth. I am telling the truth. I vow that this is the truth. So this is the importance of being spiritual. So we started with the story of Bhishma Pitamaha. Correct? We started with Bhishma Pitamaha. And now, are you able to relate how Bhishma Pitamaha was able to tolerate all the difficulties? Are you able to relate with this verse where Lord Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, being situated in the perfection of trance or samadhi, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is the actual freedom from all material miseries arising from material contact. Right? Makes sense? So, we've come towards the end now. Now we have spoken about physical health, right? So we have spoken only about the physical health. What about mental health? Right? So this is the first misery that we have. Adhyatmika tapa, right? Bodily miseries. And we saw different kinds of solutions that we have from the scriptures and the relationship with the spirituality. Now, how do we control our mind? And how do we save ourselves from the emotional and the mental distress is what we will see in the next week. Okay. And we are actually doing this program called Gita Gyan, which is 18 chapters in 18 days, a program which is currently already running, which started on September 5th, but we are in middle of it. I won't recommend you to join now because we are in middle of it. We have covered 10 chapters, done. So, but the next batch is starting on November 21st. So where this is a very nice program where, you know, every day 1 hour, we go through the summary of each of the chapter of Bhagavad Gita in 18 working days. So it will start on November 21st and it will be ending on approximately on December 14th precisely. It will be finished on December 14th.
Which days will it be? Which
It will be Monday to Friday.
Oh, every day?
It will be every day, except on Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday's morning, we have a Bhagavatam class and Sunday evening, we have this Sunday seminar. So we decided that, you know, we want to capture the prime time space of all the channels. So nobody should go anywhere than Sunday seminar of Gita Gyan. So we will be doing continuous programs like this on every Sunday, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. like that, 6 p.m. with every very interesting topics like this. Now we want to do that so that, you know, everybody is thinking about spiritual thoughts. We are discussing some spiritual topics like that.
Bhagavatam reading also will be there, Prabhuji? Like from 6 to 7 we usually have, right? 6 to 6:30.
Bhagavatam is in the morning class, 6:45 a.m. to. It's on Saturday. Every Saturday we have Bhagavatam 6:45 a.m. to
The
8
regular
p.m.
reading we do from Monday to Friday.
That is there. The regular reading is always there. Yeah, that we do. Regular reading is there, Monday to Friday. Yeah. Yeah. So that's about this session today. If you have any question and answers, I can answer. Any questions that you have with respect to today's session, or any comments that you want to say? How was the topic? How was the contents?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask one thing. Like since in this busy schedule, like we are working, so how do we balance all the things together?
Yeah. So it's like it's left to us, right? I mean, we are like, at least we have some minute independence. It's not that we are completely dependent and we are completely tied. We can always plan out our life. That's what Krishna means, right? Yukta hara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu. Means, you plan your life. That's what he's saying. Have a regulated lifestyle. Regulated sleep, regulated food habits, regulated roaming, and regulated recreation, regulated work also. That should not be like too much or too less. So there's no like one answer that will fit everybody. Depends on case to case. But the most important thing is, if we understand this principle that we have to regulate carefully, and our health, our spiritual progress, our next life, everything is in our hands. I mean, we cannot blame anybody. Tomorrow we cannot blame it is because of this person or it's because of that person. It is because of me, right? I am to blame first. So we have to sit back and think again. I mean, sometimes it's about choices. Sometimes we may have to make some choices which may be like slightly constraining, but that's okay. That's good in the long run, right? We should look at the long-term benefit rather than looking at the short-term benefit, right? So just like how small child,
Hare Krishna.
like yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have
Yes.
a doubt. Yeah. I just want to know whether everything depends on the food, water that we take, and the exercise we do, or do you have any cosmic energy which drives us, which drives our lives, emotional health, everything? So I also feel there is something in this cosmos which is protecting us, which is making us live life and health. Everything is dependent on that energy. So
Sure,
how
sure.
much we should be dependent on our food habits and our health, our lifestyle, and
How
how
much we
much
should
is the
depend on the
cosmic
cosmic,
energy?
on the
How much
supreme,
is
right?
driving it?
Correct. Yes. Thank you. Firstly, thank you for your question. I noted it. Maybe let's just confirm with Hema Mataji if she's okay with the answer, or was there anything else that was needed? Was it clear? Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Was there
Thank you,
anything
Prabhu.
else that you wanted to clarify? Is that okay?
No,
Clarified your
Prabhu.
answer? Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Yeah. Fine. So yes, coming back to Varsha Mataji's question, how much we should depend. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is very clearly saying that you do your duty. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbu mate sangostva akarmani. Don't be attached to not working. So if you touch a fire and say that it will not burn me, it will burn. It is the nature of fire to burn. So similarly, we should not think that Prahlad Maharaj has jumped in, I will also jump. You should not do like that. It is like daring the material nature. Then it will be like just like a small child touching fire. It will be that we are not supposed to do. Krishna is not telling to do that. Krishna is telling do your bit of it. Our bit of it. We should be educated. We should know how to take care of our health, how to design our lifestyle, not do the basic fundamental mistakes. Whatever this Ayurveda system is telling, we should not do those mistakes at least, right? Basic fundamental lifestyle mistakes we should not do just for the sake of some extra money or some extra something that will cost us a lot in the long run. We should not do such kind of mistakes. That's all. Right? So, and once you have done that, despite you are being so perfect, still problems will come. That is inevitable. There's no escape. That is surely they will come. Now that is dukkhalayam ashashvatam, right? This is the world of suffering. That will come. But at that time, we need the spiritual consciousness, like the Bhishma Pitamaha. We should be really well trained in spiritual consciousness. Now that where we are in the state of trance and we are able to manage it. So it will be like, even though there are so many potholes on the road, if you're traveling on a nice BMW car, it will be smooth. But if you're on a bullock cart, it's going to be a very bumpy ride, right? So that's spirituality. So we must do both. Balance both. Both are very important.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. These
Hare Krishna.
recordings will be shared, right, Prabhuji? The recordings will always be shared, right?
Recordings of what?
These Sunday sessions.
Yes, I can share if you want. I'm recording it. I guess yes, I can share.
Yes, Prabhuji, I do require, because I missed the first little part.
No worries. Yeah, I'll send you that. No worries.
As my regular Sundays, we have 5 to 6. We have Hanuman Chalisa chanting.
No worries. I'll send you.
So I missed on
just
the
put me a
beginning.
private message, Mataji, if you can. I'll just.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. I would like to hear from you. We have so many doctors here. They must also talk. Please tell your realizations, dear doctors. Tell us some advice how to lead a good life. Okay. We have Dr. Kalyani Mataji. Would you like to say something? Hare Krishna. Dr. Rajendra Prabhu, Dr. Rajendra Kumar. Like to say something? Add something? Hare Krishna.
Hearing, sir. Sorry.
Yes, no problem. Would you like to say some comments or anything?
Little outside.
Yeah, you're outside. No problem. Sir is driving. Be careful. Yes. Yes. Any comments, dear devotees, participants?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Any questions? Hare Krishna. Please tell me, Lakshmana Prabhu.
Prabhuji, like as you said, God's insurance, correct. Regarding that point, if a God assurance is there, definitely He will protect. Like no one can obey that. But in terms of material world, whatever insurance we take, but they will promises the things. But while the claim ratio is very low, Prabhuji. They will tell different kind of things before giving the money. Whatever
They don't
promising.
even give it in time. They will.
The family struggled a lot to get that money. Actually, that is the insurance is currently running in the material world.
But
That's
many, in my personal experience, important surgeries and all, we have never. They somehow dodged and they never gave the claim at all. So that's kind of insurance only have. This is our Bhagavad Gita and Lord's insurance is definitely the one safest way.
Right.
At least mentally we are able to bear it also. So okay, Krishna didn't want to give this money, it's chalega. That mental state we had come, so it's okay. That so with the Lord's name we are able to bear that also, even the monetary loss or whatever. We have been paying the insurance and yet did not get, but we are able to bear it. It's all right. But this is the best way. Lord's insurance is the only best way. There's no other choice at all. This is all external, but it's again a question like Dukalaya and Ashashwata only insurance. At least the soul is peaceful after doing all this chanting and listening to the Lord's leelas and stories. We feel very good and we're able to sleep well, and we know that He will take care. There's no doubt about it. And what is the another Mataji told, no, the cosmic energy and that's the only thing that is sad. I understand like this. That's the only thing that's making us pass through everything. But if we can live this disciplined life, it is an utopian situation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you for your very nice comments, Mataji. Yeah, so actually that's what, we, as a part of our activities, we also distribute these books, these spiritual books, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavata, like that, even to everybody, to students, to everyone. As a part of that, we distribute in the hospitals also, because, hospitals also people require, especially those people who are having chronic diseases and who are having some terminal diseases. They find a lot of peace of mind, right? So everybody needs this peace of mind and, these spiritual books. So that's one thing that I've just wanted to add. Yes. Yeah. Any other points? Maybe, like, it's 7:30, and if anybody wants to drop, can drop, and maybe another 5 minutes we can do interaction. If anybody is getting late, you can please go ahead. Yeah. Any other points or any realizations or anything that you want to say, or any topics you think we can take up in the coming weeks? You're welcome to tell about that.
Prabhuji, this Azerbaijan, you said about Padasevanam lady, that place in the whole world, I read somewhere that mortality rate is high. Most people, live more than a century, 100, 115, 120, and there is something, maybe the environmental conditions or something that keeps them healthy and long in that place. It was so nice to hear about this Padasevanam person. I mean, I didn't, of course, know about it. It was very, very pleasing. We have been to Ahobalam. I could only see there are 9 Narsimhas, and the Ugra Stamba is there on the top, which is very, very, very dangerous. When my daughter, before her marriage itself, she was very particular. She told her group that she has to go there. And there was no railing, there is a small ring around the stamba, and you have to hold the ring and go around the stamba. If you miss a step, you go to Vaikunta. And but she was very particular. I must, after going there, if I don't go, then I'm not going to be happy. So she did go, and actually generally they don't take, the groups don't take, because it's very risky.
Yes, correct.
But she did 3 times circumambulation, and then she came back. But I could with my leg problem and all, I could only see 3 Narsimhas. Okay. And as you say, I'm really, glory to Padasevanam Mataji, because it's, of course, Lord Krishna has taken care of her, and it's really great, because there the steps are rough, the place is rough, and it's a forest, as you said. It's not so very convenient for a person who has lived in very good climatic conditions to live here, but really very nice to hear about it. When did this happen, Prabhuji?
I think in 2017 or something, if I'm not wrong.
17?
Yeah, around that time.
Oh, we were getting, okay. It was nice to hear about it. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, quite recent. It's not very far. Yeah. Right. Any other comments or anything before we end for the day?
You can chant 3 times Hare Ram.
Wonderful. Thank you. Nice advice. Hare Krishna. We'll chant 3 times, all of us.
My choice. It is your advice, and we follow it, and it's good.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice advice. We'll all chant 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And we have seen, by chanting the names of Krishna, every disease will also go. Achyutananta Govinda, right? Let's chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Thank you, everybody, for your time on Sunday evening. We'll see you again.
We should thank you, Prabhuji, for giving us this precious time with precious knowledge to us. We are totally blessed to get this. That too on a Sunday evening. It's like a recharge for the rest of the week. Thank you so much.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you for the wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Shanti Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
pranam.
Prem Lata Mataji. Thank you for joining. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. I will end the meeting with your permission. Hare Krishna.